What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We have some interesting and very exciting information about the upcoming character Jinhsi of Wuthering Waves. Should be coming around June 28th, according to what the developer note said. But we just got some information about her kit and how she operates. So we're going to take a look at a preliminary look at her kit. Obviously, all these things are subject to change all the way until she releases. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, so this is the new character that should be coming out. I don't know if she's coming first or if the other character, Chang-Li's, coming second, or who's coming first, or if they come in at the same time. We really don't know. But Jinhsi, it's a 5-star spectral character that uses a broad blade, kind of like Jian and Kalcharo. Her signature dish is actually pretty good, but we're going to discuss that a little bit later. And her design looks really nice. She has 412 attack, which is not as high as Jian at 437 and not as high as Kalcharo at 47. However, she does have higher defense because both Kalcharo and Jian have 1185 defense, and she has around 1258, which is a little bit more tanky. So that is that when it comes to her stats. These are the materials you're going to need for her, so screenshot this if you want to. I'm going to make a video on the pre-farming for her. All right, now to the nitty gritty. Her basic attack is just a regular basic attack. She performs up to 4 consecutive strikes, dealing spectral damage. Obviously, the heavy attack, you hold it. Mid-air attack, and we're going to talk a lot about mid-air attacks, as she apparently does a lot of mid-air attacks. And then she also does dodge counter. The basic stuff is very basic, nothing crazy there. Now, her resonance skill, Trailing Lights of Eons, dash forward and perform a consecutive strike inflicting spectral damage, kind of like Jian's. Jian's also, he launches himself forward and deals some aero damage, so she's going to do something similar. Overflowing Radiance after Jinhsi uses base attack 4, so after your 4-hit basic combo, or while not in Incarnation. Incarnation is a state that she's going to enter, but we're going to discuss it later on. So whenever she does her 4 basic attack, or she performs her intro skill, an alternative resonance skill, Overflowing Radiance, becomes available within 5 seconds. So after you do your 4th basic, or you do your intro skill, you're going to have a different type of skill that is different than this one, and it's called Overflowing Radiance, and it becomes available within 5 seconds. Resonance skill, Overflowing Radiance, inflicts spectral damage and sends Jinhsi into Incarnation. So essentially, when you do your intro skill into your resonance skill, you're going to enter a state called Incarnation, and apparently the Incarnation lasts about 10 seconds all throughout the board. So far pretty interesting. She's going to be entering a state after 4 basic attacks or intro skill that is called Incarnation. So once she enters Incarnation, I'm going to assume that she's going to be doing some extra crazy stuff, kind of like how Jian enters his ultimate and does a little bit of different stuff. And the important thing is that this can be cast in midair. This is going to be a trend that you're going to see throughout this video, because everything she does, she can cast it in midair. That tells me that she's going to be a aerial, kind of like Ling Yang type of character, that she's going to perform really well in the air. Now for her Resonance Liberation, which is her ultimate Purge of Light. Unleash the power of Heart's Wish to deal spectral damage, can be cast in midair, as everything that she does can be cast in midair. The interesting thing about her Resonance Liberation, if we go to the damage data over here and we take a look at her ultimate down here, it says spectral damage, damage 4 at level 1, 1290. So let's compare that to Havoc Rover, which in my opinion has the highest nuke damage when it comes to an ultimate, and see how he compares. So as you can see, at level 1, we're only going to compare level 1 because it's a lot of numbers in here, and we're gonna go crazy if we go into all these numbers. But at level 1, 765, and if we compare Jinhsi at level 1, has 1290, and even if it's a 2-hit combo or 3-hit combo or 1-hit combo, if we add 2 of these, it's still going to add up to more than 765. And as we go up in levels, the difference is going to keep going up and up and up. Let's say she does a little bit more damage than Havoc Rover does on the ultimate. She's going to do a lot of damage. Now into her inherent skills, she has 2 of them. Radiant Surge, which gives you 20% damage bonus, and then the Converge Flash, which gives a 50% damage bonus to the intro skill Longs Halo, which is this right here, which by itself does about 80 at level 1 and gets all the way to about twice as much as 160. Now the outro skill, Temporal Bender, with the power of Homologous with the Sentinel, Jinhsi reduces cooldown of eras in Unity to 1 second. This lasts for 20 seconds. We don't know what eras in Unity is as of right now, but we are going to cover it down here, so just bear with me. Her Forte, which is her main gimmick, we're going to go over it right now. Incarnation, which is what we get, the state we get after we do the 4 basic attacks or the intro skill. While we're in Incarnation, we're going to swap our entire kit, our entire base attack kit, to Incarnation basic, and we pretty much swap over to a different type of basic structure when it comes to her basic attacks whenever we are in Incarnation. The first perform 4 consecutive strikes, dealing spectral damage. The basic attack cycle of this will not be reset and can be cast in midair. Again, if you take notice, everything she has can be cast in midair. everything can be cast in midair, but actually except for this one. Actually, no, she does. She has what cast in midair, an alternate dodge counter. So she has an air dodge counter as well. That's pretty cool. So that tells me that she's going to be a character that we're going to want to play in the air because we're able to dodge and dodge counter also in the air, which is pretty nice. Resonance skill, Luminous Epiphany. So this is going to be the new resonance skill that we're going to get when we go on Incarnation. After stage 4 of Incarnation Basic, Incarnation terminates and Jinhsi gains Ordination Glow. So pretty much Ordination Glow is another Incarnation. So you go through Incarnation first, and then once you are done with the 4 basic attacks of Incarnation, you go into Ordination Glow. So while in Ordination Glow, basic attack is replaced with the alternative heavy basic Incarnation Heavy. So what this means that whenever you're in Ordination Glow, you're no longer going to have a basic attack and is going to be replaced by the alternative heavy attack, Incarnation Heavy attack. And this also is when airborne. Attack the enemy in midair, costs stamina, deals spectral damage. Resonance skill is replaced with Illuminous Epiphany, which we are covering right now. Send out solar flare that detonates as stellar glamour that deals spectral damage after a short delay. When Jinhsi has Incandesce, consume 40 Incandesce. Each point of Incandesce grants additional damage multiplier % to the star glamour, can be cast in midair. After casting Resonance skill, Illuminous Epiphany, Jinhsi gains Unison. This can be triggered once every 25 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and explain what this is right here, because it's a lot of words. It's very wordy. So basically what this means is once you enter Ordination Glow, so let's say you start an Incarnation, you do your 4 basics, and then you go into Ordination Glow. Once you get into Ordination Glow, you're in the air, you're going to have a heavy attack and no longer a basic attack. And then your skill is going to send out the solar flare, and it's going to be called Stellar Glamour. And that's going to do presumably a lot of damage because the damage of it stacks off the amount of Incandesce stacks that you have. And I'm assuming you get this just by fighting. So the more Incandesce stats you have, the more damage your E is going to do whenever you pop it off. So this is going to be like a secondary nuke. And then each Incandesce grants damage multiplier. So the more you have, the more damage you're going to be doing. So Unison, while Jinhsi has Unison, switching to other characters will remove Jinhsi's Unison to trigger Jinhsi's outro skill and the incoming character's intro skill. So this is pretty much a swap mechanic. And then Unison will be consumed in priority in place of Concerto Energy. So what it means is you pretty much have 2 triggers. So you can have your Concerto Energy to trigger your intro outro skill, and you also have your Unison. You can use your Unison first, swap back, and then when you swap back into Jinhsi, you have your Concerto Energy to actually use again, so you can do it twice. And then Incandesce, Jinhsi can hold up to 40 Incandesce. When Jinhsi is on the team, all nearby characters on the team gain Eras in Unity. When characters with Eras in Unity deal damage with attribute, Jinhsi gains 1 Incandesce. Damage of the same type of the same attribute can provide up to 1 Incandesce every 3 seconds. And how this connects to the outro skill is that here it says that you can provide 1 Incandesce every 3 seconds, but for the first 20 seconds, you can provide Incandesce every second based on your outro skill. So you're going to outro into whatever, and then you're presumably going to go into a character that spams basic attacks or heavy attacks or attacks really fast, so you can gain some Incandesce, and then you can swap back to Jinhsi, then use your Concerto, swap back out, and then come back out, and then try to get more Incandesce stacks, because if you add 20 times 2, that's 40 seconds. If you gain 1 Incandesce per second while your Jinhsi is out of the field, then when you come back, you're going to have 40, the max amount of Incandesce, and then you're going to pop off with the Big Bang Star Glamour E whenever you get to it. So she's pretty much a I'm on the field, I do some damage, I go out, after your active character charges my E up, and then when I come back, I blow everybody up. That's pretty much what that means. I'm not going to bore people with the numbers just yet because these may change, but that's pretty much the gist of the kit. Stab bonuses. So these are all the stab bonuses she gets off the skill advancement tree. She gets about this 1.2 crit rate, 1.2 crit rate, that's 2.4. Then we have 2.8 and 2.8, that's 5.6, plus 2.4, that's like 9% crit rate, I think, if I didn't mess up the math. That's about 9% crit rate that she gets from her stats, which is really, really strong. That's 18 crit value right there. And then she also gets a bunch of attack. But she gets a bunch of crit, a bunch of attack, which is really, really nice. It's really rare that characters have crit rate and attack in the same like trace and advancement or skill advancing stats. Like it's really, really rare to see that. The Resonance Chain, I'm really not going to go over them just yet because as like I said, these things can change. Actually, everything that I've been talking about can change, but the general gist of the kit is more than likely not going to change. So that's why I'm discussing it. The other thing I'm going to discuss is going to be her weapon, and it's going to be obviously a broad blade with a crit rate main stat. It's going to be really strong. Gains a certain amount of additional damage bonus for all attributes. The wielder is bestowed with Divine Blessing and gains 1 stack of Blessing with Aegis for each basic attack strike for up to 4 stacks. So every 4 stacks, you max it out, which is removed when the wielder leaves the field. So once you hit your first 4 basic attacks, which goes perfectly with her own kit, you're going to get this damage bonus right here. And this obviously increases as you get more copies of the weapon. At 4 stacks of Blessing of Aegis or more, the wielder consumes all stacks of Blessings of Aegis when casting the next resonant skill. With its damage increased by at least 48% for 2.5 seconds, this can be triggered 1 time every 6 seconds. So this pretty much, this sword sets the resonant skill, what is it called? Let me go back over here and read it. It's going to set up the Star Glamour nuke really, really well if you use the sword to stack up your 4 basics. Your next resonant skill is going to do an insane amount of damage, and you can trigger it more than once. And remember, you can use your skill to go into incarnation, because you have to use your 4 basics to go into incarnation, or your intro skill. So if you use your intro skill, you use 4 basics after, you're already going to be in the secondary state, which is called, where is it at? Your secondary state, which is called Ordination Glow. And then from Ordination Glow, you're going to be able to release a Stellar Glamour after you do your first 4 basic attacks, or when you have 40 incandescent stacks, so you can do maximum damage. So her playstyle, from what I can read, seems pretty interesting. She's going to be doing a lot of aerial attacks. Most of her combat says that you can do it in the air, so I'm assuming that a lot of her stuff is going to be very effective in the air. I don't know how much I like that, because the only character that I feel that works in the air almost all the time when it's doing when it has the damage uptime is going to be Ling Yang, and people hate playing Ling Yang. I honestly haven't played him enough to tell you, but if it's that bad how people say, then I don't know how this is going to work. But she does seem very interesting. Her skills seem very strong. There's several ways of doing damage with her. Like her ult does a lot of damage, and then I'm assuming this thing, whenever everything is said and done and you're already set up and stacked up, this Star Glamour E skill is going to do a lot of damage. So let me know what you guys think about Jinhsi's skill. Are you excited for it? Let me know in the comment section below, and until next time, guys, see ya.